All right, so our question, it actually breaks it up into bullets. And the first one, it asked us to declare a suitable numeric variable to store the area of the kite. So this button, we're going to ask the user to type in the two diagonal lengths. And then using that, we're going to apply to the formula they gave us to work out the area of this whole kite. So, but their first question, they want us now to create a variable to store the area of a kite. Whenever we're working with measurements like kilograms, meters, any unit of measurement, always go double. Yeah, so that's perfect. But now, do you agree? What will we need to calculate it? Do you agree they told us we're going to get, and you can see it with the sample input, we're going to get the diagonal A and we're going to get diagonal B. So which other variables would we need? And what data type will they be? Do you agree we'll have a diagonal A and we'll have a diagonal B? And what data type would you make then? Yes, perfect, because they are also units of measurements. Okay, so those are most probably the variables we'll need so we can work around there. So if we used our edit boxes, we would have gone our diagonal A, and then we would have had our edit box dot text, and we would have converted it. Um, and we just needed to float to string it, string to float it. But now we don't have edit boxes. So what you can do, if you want to have a pop-up box, so that's like a message box that just appears, you can just call it, and you agree we want input now, we want to ask the user for a number for us. So um, so the only thing you do is you just say input box, and then input box, you'll see once you go open bracket, there's three pieces. There's a caption, there's a prompt, and then there's a default. So the caption for now, I'm just going to say top so they can show you where it is. And then for the prompt, I'm just going to say question for now. We can change it just now. And then the default, we're just going to say default. Just so you can see where these things appear. But now this input box does the same thing as what the .text does. It also gives us a string. So how can I change this string now so that I can put it into a double? What must I do? Yes, string to float. All right, let me quickly play this and you can see what this does. See, so now if you click it, now you get this message. You see, there's the top part, there's your question, and then there's the default. So whatever you want appearing there or there or there, you can then just type in here. All right, let's cancel. Okay. All right, so what we want, so we can just give it better messages. So the top part, I'm going to say the area of a kite, because that's sort of what we're doing. And then inside, we're going to ask diagonal A length, because we want to know the diagonal A's length. And then if you want the default, sometimes a lot of people just like to keep it empty. Then just starts empty. So let's keep it empty for now. So let's just see what happens now. So now if you click this button, you get this area of kite, diagonal length. You could put a number in there, and then that would go into that variable box. So that's for diagonal A. Now, do you agree we want to just do this for diagonal B as well? So I'm just going to copy that. Just paste it again, because we want diagonal B's length and diagonal B. Now I've got the two diagonals. So my input part is done. I've got my value for diagonal A, I've got my value for diagonal B. Now, if you look at your question, so that the second one I sent you just now, where the formula was. Who wants to try? So our area, let's apply that formula. Who wants to try and give me how to do that? You'll see there it says the area is equal to length of diagonal A times the length of diagonal B divided by 2. So how would I do that? Yeah. How do I apply that formula? Yeah, so this is how we apply it. So our area is just equal to diagonal A times diagonal B. And then that answer, we're just going to divide by 2. Now we've got the area. So if you want is, because we don't have the edit box, the way to display now. So I showed you here, you can say input box. That's when you want to get input, when you want to ask the user for something. So just like that, you can go and you can use a thing called show message. Show message just to display a message. And then what we want to display, we want to show area. But you'll see if we play this one, we still get the error, they still say incompatible type. So we still need to convert this double to a string. And how do we convert the double to a string again? Yes. Float to string of the area. So now let's play this thing. Let's see. So you'll see that even they gave us in that first one that I gave you, they gave us an example. So you can put in 27 by A and 13 by B. And our answer should be 175,5 square meters. Perfect. And that's all you would have done. So even in these show messages, you can add a message to the front of your variable and at the back, just to make the output look a bit better. There's only one thing that we must use. So you'll see declared the area, we did that. Then the second question, test. They asked us test whether the value of diagonal A is greater than the value of diagonal B or not. So they want us to, so that this would have just worked it out. But what they actually wanted us to do now before we get this area, they wanted us to test if diagonal A is greater than B. They said if the value of A is greater than the value of B, use the formula, what we've done. But if the value of A is not greater than the value of B, we must display a message. So how will we do that? So only if A is bigger than B, then we must do this. If not, we must show an error. So what can we do to check if diagonal A is greater than diagonal B? What can we do? Perfect. Okay, so if what? If our diagonal A is greater than our diagonal B. So then you'll see the question said, if diagonal A is greater than B, then we must do this. So we'll just put that in there. But then they said, if it's not, we must just display an error message saying that A is not greater. So how do I get that right now? So if A is greater than B, we're going to work out the area and display it. But now if it's not, I want to show a message. So how can I do that? All right, could you see? So adding our else part allows us to only see this message if this statement is not true. So if A is greater than B, we're going to work out the formula, display this. Otherwise, it's going to show this error if A is not greater than B.